Now, today's topic we have to discuss on the direct proportion, and the learning objective is to recognize and solve problems using direct proportion, and these are the keywords we have there. But before we embark on this, students should know how to multiply and divide without using a calculator. Okay, so we have to note this first, that in direct proportion, when one of the quantity is increasing, the other will be increasing as well. So when one of the quantity is increasing in direct proportion, the other quantity also will be increasing. That is what we call a direct proportion. And when one quantity is decreasing, the other will be decreasing as well. So the best way to solve all problems involving direct proportion is to start by finding the single unit value. And this method is what we call the unitary method. What I mean by that is that, supposing we have that 5 books. If 5 books maybe cost $3, then we may ask us to find what is the cost of 20 books. What the cost of 20 books? You can say that if 5 books cost $3, then 20 books, the amount will go more higher, so because of the number of books have increased, the amount will increase. If you're asked to find what is the cost of 2 books, you can see that since the number of books have decreased, the amount also will decrease. So this is what we call what? A direct proportion. So let's look at some example we have. In this case, we say that if 8 math textbooks cost $20, what is the cost of 3 textbooks? Okay, now in this case, we say that the best method to find this direct proportion is to start first looking for the single unit. So if we have that 8 of the textbook cost $20, first of all, 1 of the textbook will cost how many dollars? See that? So if 8 costs $20, then 1 will be 20 divided by what? 8. So 1 of the textbook will be $20 divided by what? 8. And if you divide 20 by 8, we'll be having what will we have? Check. We're having 2.5. So $2.5 will be the cost of 1 book. So since 2.5 is the cost of 1 book, then what is the cost of 3 books? So since we have obtained the cost of 1 book, we can use it to obtain any number of books we have, since they are of the same textbook. Okay, so the cost of 3 textbooks now will now be what? That will now be 3 times what? 3 times $2.5. So 3 times $2.5 will be what? 3 times 2.5. We have it to be what? 7.5. So the cost of 3 this thing will be what? Will be $7.5. So this method of finding one single unit is what we call the unitary method. Okay. Or we can solve it in the other way around by saying that if 8 textbooks cost $20, under the textbook, 3 textbooks will cost how much? So we can cross multiply in another method. If we cross multiply, have 3 times what? $20 divided by what? 8. So let's check what we have. In this case, I have 3 times $20. That gives me 60 divided by 8. We have what? We have 7.5. You see that? So you can use any method to solve it. So we have what? 7.5. You can use any method to solve it, but the best method to solve it is finding the single the single unit first. Okay, now let's look at another example. In this case, we say that during the winter, I find that 100 kg of coal keeps my house burning for 2 weeks. 100 kg keeps my house burning for 2 weeks. If I want a fire all through the winter, and the winter is 18 weeks. So if I want a fire all through the winter, how much coal will I need to buy? Okay, so in the first one, if I want the fire throughout the winter, and the winter is 18 weeks, how much coal do I need to buy? Okay, so we have that in 2 weeks, we burned 100 kg of coal. In 2 weeks, we burned 100 kg of coal. That means that in 1 week, how many kg of coal are we going to burn? You see that 100 divided by 2 will now be 50. That means in 1 week, we have it to be 100 kg of coal divided by 2 weeks. That means we have what? 50 kg. So in 1 week, we are expecting to burn 50 kg of coal. So if I want it to burn for throughout the winter, and the winter is 18 weeks, so how many coal will I need to buy? Therefore, in 18 weeks, we have it to be 18 multiplied by what? 50 kg of coal. So 18 multiplied by 50, what do we have? Say that 18 multiplied by 50, we have 900. So we have 900 kg of coal if we want it to burn for 18 weeks. Okay. The next question says, last year I bought 250 kg of coal. For how many weeks did I need a fire? So if 250 coal I bought last week, for how many weeks did I need a fire? First of all, we know that 1 week gives us 50 kg in 1 week. Then in 250 kg, how many weeks will I have to burn it? So that gives us this times this, cross multiply, we have 250 kg divided by 50. Okay, so that gives us how many weeks? Let's check. We have 250 divided by 50. So that means 5 weeks. So in this case, I need 5 weeks to burn 250 kg of wood. So this is how we solve that of the direct proportion. Okay, let's look at one more example before we go. Now this says that 10 mass textbooks cost a total of $50. How much will 25 of the same mass textbooks cost? So if 10 of the mass textbook cost $50, if 10 of the mass textbook cost $50, that means 1 of the mass textbook will cost how much? So that means we have this to be 50 divided by 10. 1 will cost what? $5. Then how much will 25 of the same mass textbook cost? 25 of the same mass textbook. 25 of the same mass textbook will now cost what? 25 multiplied by $5, because each of them is $5. So if 25 multiplied by 5, we have that to be what? 25 multiplied by 5. That gives us 150. $25. So in 25 we have $125. That is the cost of 25. Okay. Now last one says, how many of these math textbook can you buy for $75? Okay. So if one math textbook costs $5, if one math textbook costs $5, that means that $75 will be how many? How many will cost $75? We have that to be $75 multiplied by one math textbook divided by what? $55. So 75 divided by 5 gives us what? 75 divided by 5, we have 15. So in this case we have what? 15 math textbook. So 15 math textbook is what we are going to buy for $75. And this is how we solve the problem. So thank you for listening.